Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Just Law on IQRA TV. I'm your host Ilyas, and this is the second part to the show. Just before the break, we had a caller on the air who wanted to discuss what is classed really as a human rights application. Somebody who's overstayed in the United Kingdom wanted to know roughly when the application for further leave to remain in the United Kingdom should be made, and we sort of discussed how first of all, the caller has a child who's 10 years old, potentially can apply for British citizenship. So we discussed that the child should apply for British citizenship first, and then or register herself as British, and then make an application for further leave to remain. We'll take our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
And sir, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
Sir, मेरा question है कि मैंने अपनी wife का visa apply किया हुआ है from India है.
Okay.
Spouse visa.
Okay. All right.
So मैंने 6th of April को supporting documents Sheffield भेज दिए थे.
All right. Okay. Yep.
पर उन्होंने मुझको मेरे original document वापस नहीं भेजे अभी तक.
जी. All right. Okay. All right. तो
कोई उन्होंने मुझे ईमेल भी नहीं की कि उनको मेरे डॉक्यूमेंट मिल गए और नहीं मिले ना.
ओके आपका एप्लीकेशन वो प्रायोरिटी एप्लीकेशन किया था आपने या नॉर्मल स्टैंडर्ड एप्लीकेशन किया था वाइफ के लिए? स्टैंडर्ड एप्लीकेशन किया था जी. ठीक है. अभी जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स जो आप सबमिट करते हैं रफली 2 to 3 वीक्स में वो वापस आते हैं डॉक्यूमेंट्स. It's not that quick at the moment. स्टैंडर्ड जो एप्लीकेशन होते हैं नॉर्मली 2 to 3 वीक्स लगता है उसको अब स्कैन करने में. So there's nothing to worry about at all. Or you need to look at the fact that we've had the Easter holidays as well, no? So you know, Easter holidays things would have slowed down a bit, and so there's nothing to worry about at the moment. Assume that it takes 2 to 3 weeks. Secondly, जो आपने कहा ना कि they haven't emailed you, they don't normally email you. It's not a very good system, but they don't acknowledge that they have received the papers, so they won't. If they don't receive the papers, then they will send you an email saying, "Okay, look." Then they will send. Okay. So it's an unusual.
I understand that.
No problem. Okay, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. So that just a question in relation to spouse applications and supporting documents, where it's not a great system. The Home Office doesn't always acknowledge the fact, well, to be quite honest, doesn't acknowledge the fact that you've submitted the documents. But if there is a problem, they do normally come back to you and tell you that the documents have not been received. Now, just going back to the topic that we were going to discuss for today, as I said at the outset, slightly different to what we normally discuss, which is family-based applications. I mean, naturally, we get a lot of questions on family-based applications, such as calling spouses over to the UK, etc. So we normally discuss that. But today, I wanted to look at business visas, in particular, what is known as the entrepreneur visa. And increasingly from India, Pakistan, what you're finding is that business people are using this route to come to the United Kingdom. Essentially, what the route is it's basically a scheme whereby normally somebody who is experienced in business and they've been running a business in their home country, what they want to do is basically start a business in the United Kingdom, and they have savings of £200,000 in their bank account. They've got some experience in running businesses. They have a good command of English. So that's who the scheme is designed for. It's for people who want to come to the UK. I know I've said that it's for people with some business experience. Having said that, the Home Office will obviously look at all applications which are submitted, and if it's a credible application from somebody who doesn't necessarily have business experience but has the money, has a good plan, there's also the opportunity for that person to get a visa to come to the United Kingdom to operate a business. So it's a category which is becoming more and more popular as other categories become more difficult, such as the student visa has a lot of restrictions to it. The work permit route requires a company in the United Kingdom to sponsor somebody, and there are many hurdles that they need to go through before they can do that. The investor visa requires savings of £2 million in somebody's bank account before they can use that. So what's happened is that the other categories where business people, professional people can come to the United Kingdom, because those other categories are very difficult in terms of satisfying their conditions, what's happened now is that people have started looking at and focusing more on the entrepreneur route. And essentially, in my experience, the main two requirements for this visa is that the applicant needs savings of £200,000. Unfortunately, it does rule a lot of people out, but the savings requirement is £200,000. Secondly, the applicant needs a reasonably good command of English. And what we're finding now is people are coming into the United Kingdom under this visa from South Asia. They're coming from the Middle East, coming from African countries. Normally, these are well-established business people who, for whatever reason, don't see a future in the country where they are living. For example, they may have migrated from India, Pakistan to Dubai, established businesses there, etc. Now they're thinking that in the long run, maybe Dubai is not where they want to stay. They're looking at an alternative place to go to. They don't necessarily want to return back to their home country. So a lot of those kind of people are looking at the UK as a potential place to invest and to grow a business. Now, the idea behind this scheme is that the applicant will bring over £200,000 in the United Kingdom. They will then use the £200,000 in the business that they have, grow the business in such a way that within 2 years they will be in a position to employ two new people basically. And that's essentially the idea behind it, to grow a successful business in the UK and to take on employees from within the United Kingdom. It is, and I'll go through the rules shortly, but it is a scheme which is attractive. Attractive in the sense that it ultimately does lead to settlement in the United Kingdom. And normally it leads to settlement in the United Kingdom after a period of 5 years. However, it is still possible to obtain settlement in the United Kingdom after 3 years. But in most cases, you find that applicants under this category will qualify for settlement after 5 years. And after they have obtained settlement in the United Kingdom, after 1 year, they qualify for British citizenship. So it is quite an attractive route into the United Kingdom. And it's one of those routes where the main applicant, not only can he or she come to the United Kingdom, the main applicant's spouse can also come to the United Kingdom. The main applicant's children under the age of 18 can come to the United Kingdom. So there are, to some extent, additional benefits which are applicable to this scheme, in that it allows family migration into the United Kingdom. And then once the children are here, they are entitled to legally attend state schools. They are eligible for NHS treatment. Obviously, there's a IHS surcharge which is paid, which amounts to about £200 a year for each applicant. But it then means that they are entitled to NHS treatment as well. So in that sense, it is a good route to the United Kingdom. It provides an opportunity for the business person to establish and grow a business here, make it profitable. They do need to take 2 people on, but at the same time, it allows somebody to bring their family to the United Kingdom, have access to the state schooling system, and also have access to the NHS as well. So the scheme has been made as attractive as possible with a view to get into a situation where the right talent of people, right talented people, come to the United Kingdom and establish their businesses here. And as I've said, over the last few years, this has become a scheme which is becoming increasingly attractive to a lot of people. Now, let's just run through a couple of the main requirements that I've sort of highlighted. The starting point is that the applicant needs savings of £200,000, and sometimes it is a bit of a stumbling block because it is a substantial amount of money, and that money has to be really held in the person's personal account. There are some exceptions to that. I mean, you can rely on third-party funding, you can rely on money in your business account, etc. But to make a straightforward, easy application for a Tier 1 entrepreneur visa, it helps to have that money in cleared funds in your bank account. And the account that it has to be in has to be an account from a properly regulated bank. The reason behind it is that obviously the Home Office will check with the bank to see whether the money is available or not, and it's easier where money is held in regulated banks. And secondly, the money has to be transferable into the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, there are some countries around the world where it's not possible to transfer the money into the United Kingdom. I'll look at that in greater detail after I've taken the next call. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum, brother.
Ji, brother, thank you for calling. Ji, brother, what's your question?
But my question is, financially, what's the customer told me to change the law again?
Okay.
What is it that I need to be financially at my wage slips, and what someone told me you need a certain amount of money in your bank?
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Could you please just clarify that for me?
All right. Okay. I mean, do you have much in terms of savings at the moment in your bank account?
I do. Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah.
Roughly how much do you have? And I'll deal with that and answer the question.
About 16 to 18,000 pounds.
16 to 18,000 pounds. Brilliant. And okay, what I'll do is I'll deal with that now before I return to the main topic. But thank you for calling. Okay, now just in answer to your question, this is something we looked at the outset, which is where somebody is in receipt of salaried income, then the requirement is that they need to submit 6 months wage slip, 6 months bank statements and an employer's letter. The key thing is really the amount of money that the person receives. The sponsor, whether it's in relation to an application to sponsor somebody to come to the United Kingdom for the initial visa, or whether it's for an extension or settlement, whichever stage that you've reached, the key thing at the moment is that the sponsor needs to be earning £18,600. It's easier if the wife is already here, you can use combined income as well. But the key figure is that of £18,600. Now, the caller was asking whether there have been any changes as far as that is concerned. At the moment, the figure hasn't changed, and a lot of people anticipated that come April this year, the 18,600 requirement may go up slightly. Now, what we did find is that that requirement has remained the same. In April, certain things have gone up. In particular, the fees for these applications have gone up, whether it's an entry clearance application when somebody's coming initially to the United Kingdom, an extension application in the UK, settlement application. Across the board, the fees have gone up in the first week of April. But luckily, as far as the income requirement is concerned, when you're sponsoring your husband or wife to come to the United Kingdom, luckily, as far as that is concerned, it is still 18,600 at the moment. That hasn't changed. There's no proposal at the moment to change that. There's a proposal to increase certain other things, such as the IHS fee, which is payable, the NHS fee, proposal to increase that in October 2018. But there's no proposal at the moment to increase the 18,600 requirement. So at the moment, it is still the same in answer to your question. And it is really 6 months of wage slips and 6 months of bank statements that you are relying on. Obviously, make sure that the original bank statements, they're up to date, they're in your name, there's no gaps in there, etc. Again, your wage slips are original wage slips, and you get a proper letter from your employer confirming your employment, how long you've been employed, what your salary is, how long you've been on that salary, and whether your job is permanent or not. But in answer to your question, it is still 18,600, the requirement that needs to be fulfilled. But, thank you for that call. Now, Just going back to what we were discussing in relation to the entrepreneur visa, essentially what the applicant needs is to show that they've got £200,000 which they can transfer to the United Kingdom in order to make an application in the United Kingdom for a visa. Now, the other key requirement, as I mentioned, is that the person who's applying, the applicant, needs to be reasonably fluent in English, and they will, in their home country, need to pass an English test, similar kind of test to what spouses do, in a sense that the tests are taken at the same centres, but the level of the test is different. Spouses coming to the United Kingdom pass a test at a very basic level. This is unfortunately at a higher level, at B1. We'll look at that in greater detail after we've taken the next call. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
वालेकुम सलाम
जी, thank you for calling. जी, what's your question?
हाँ जी, मैंने पूछना था
जी।
कि हमने एक बच्चे का अप्लाई करना वीज़ा,
जी, ठीक है, ओके,
तो क्या होगा हमें करना है? दुबई में रहते हैं,
राइट, ओके, ओके,
तो हम स्कॉटलैंड में हैं।
राइट, ओके, आप स्कॉटलैंड में हैं, राइट, ओके, और शादी हो गई है या होने वाली है?
नहीं,
ओके, नो मैरिड
अपनी
येट,
मंगनी की है।
ऑलराइट, ओके, और आपका जो बेटा है यहाँ काम करता है या क्या कर रहा है यहाँ?
काम कर रही है बेटी।
और बेटी है, सॉरी, एम्प्लॉयड है, और उसकी आपको पता है कि उसकी इनकम क्या है?
जी, 18,000 ठीक है।
वो है, ओके, जी, ओके,
हाँ।
सो दैट शुड बी ओके एज वेल। तो मैं क्या करता हूँ, आपको बेसिक जो रिक्वायरमेंट है मैं बता देता हूँ, बट थैंक यू आपका कॉल का, ठीक है, थैंक यू,
Okay.
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
चलो ठीक है।
Okay, so let me just run through very quickly जो requirements है, let me run through that very quickly. वो from Dubai पहले तो वो इंग्लिश के जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, A1 लाइफ स्किल्स का टेस्ट करना पड़ेगा। सेकेंडली, मोस्ट लाइकली बिकॉज इट्स दुबई, वहाँ से TB टेस्ट की ज़रूरत नहीं होगी, मगर वो चेक करना पड़ेगा कि उसने कितना टाइम वहाँ गुजारा, कितने टाइम वहाँ से बाहर गुजारा, सो वो चेक करना पड़ेगा। इसके बाद जो शादी होगी तो वी विल नीड अ प्रॉपर मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट, ऑफिशियल मैरिज सर्टिफिकेट की ज़रूरत होगी। इनकम की जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, आपने बताया कि जो डॉटर है वहाँ 18,600 की उसकी इनकम है, तो वो भी 6 मंथ्स की वेज स्लिप, 6 मंथ्स बैंक स्टेटमेंट, एम्प्लॉयमेंट लेटर डालना पड़ेगा। फिर घर के बारे में वो देखेंगे कहाँ रहेगा ये लड़का, वनी कम्स हियर, सो उसके लिए बताना पड़ेगा कि किसके नाम पे घर है, हाउस का रिपोर्ट करना पड़ेगा कि घर में इनफ जगह है या नहीं। फिर जो घर का जो ओनर है उसका लेटर सबमिट करना पड़ेगा टू शो कि वो परमिशन दे रहा है वो फॉर द पर्सन टू कम एंड स्टे देयर। सो A1 life skills, potentially a TB certificate, 3 months wage slips, 3 months bank statement, employment letter, accommodation का deeds जो होता है, property inspection report, owner's letter. Then the other documents relating to the relationship, जो शादी से पहले या शादी से बाद जो वो दोनों बात करते हैं, so उसका टेलीफोन रिकॉर्ड्स, अगर मैसेजेस भेजते हैं तो मैसेजेस के रिकॉर्ड्स, अगर वो यहाँ से पैसे भेजते हैं वहाँ से यहाँ भेजते हैं, जो भी है उसके रिकॉर्ड्स वहाँ जाएंगे। शादी के फ़ोटोग्राफ्स, शादी के बाद के फ़ोटोग्राफ्स, इसलिए बताएंगे कि ये जो शादी है वो जेन्युइन है। सिर्फ ये नहीं है कि शादी हो गई, बट इट इज़ अ जेन्युइन सबसिस्टिंग मैरिज, ये शादी भी, उसकी जो रिलेशनशिप है वो अभी चल रही है। सो बेसिकली इस टाइप के जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं वो सबमिट करने पड़ते हैं। पर आपको मोस्ट लाइकली थोड़ा सा go to a lawyer जो इमिग्रेशन का एक्सपीरियंस्ड है, बेस्ट टू टेक एडवाइस फ्रॉम दैट पर्सन इन टर्म्स ऑफ जो प्रोसेस होता है, ऑनलाइन एप्लीकेशन जो डालना पड़ता है, फिर ये डॉक्यूमेंट्स दुबई में सबमिट करेंगे या तो यहाँ करेंगे, वो भी चेक करना पड़ेगा। डिफरेंट कंट्रीज़ के लिए देयर आर डिफरेंट रूल्स विच अप्लाई। सो दैट इज़ अ वेरी बेसिक ओवरव्यू of a spouse application to the United Kingdom. अगर आपके पास कोई स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन है जो आप जानना चाहते हैं पैसे के बारे में, जो भी है, तो आप अगर दोबारा फ़ोन कर लें तो इंशाल्लाह आई विल गो थ्रू दैट एज वेल। सो जस्ट लुकिंग एट व्हाट वी वर डिस्कसिंग के बिजनेस जो वीज़ा है, where somebody is relying on £200,000 to come and invest in the UK, they also have to meet the English language requirement. Their level of English is a much higher level of English that they are required to have. The test that they need to pass is a B1 test, and it's not limited to just speaking and listening. You have to cover all 4 components of English, which is speaking, listening, reading and writing. So somebody who's reasonably fluent in English would be able to pass that, hopefully, without any difficulty. Because essentially what they want is people with money to invest to come to the United Kingdom, and with the language ability that they have, they're easily able to operate a business in the United Kingdom. And the view I think they're taking is that if the English is at a very basic level, then that may well hinder their ability to run a business in the United Kingdom. Third really thing that you look at is, and it's not essential, but the person's qualifications, the person's business experience, to show that this is a person who's actually capable of operating a business in the United Kingdom. It may well be that the person wants to run a business in their particular field of expertise, in which case their qualifications would come in handy. It may be that they have been operating a business in their home country, and it's a similar kind of business that they want to operate in the United Kingdom. For example, let's take somebody who is within the wholesaling business, and they want to operate the same business, same type of wholesaling business. They would then demonstrate what they've been doing in their home country and what they want to do in the United Kingdom. In addition to that, and this is again one of the key points that they will look at, is the applicant's business plan. So they want to look at what it is that they're proposing to do in the United Kingdom. So the business plan will demonstrate that they've carried out some kind of market research into this field, in terms of who the competitors are, at what price point they will be able to enter the market, how they will be able to get market share and really expand and prosper in the United Kingdom, and some understanding of what the costs, expenses are of operating businesses in the United Kingdom. For example, if they're going to get premises, what the cost of that is going to be. If they're going to take on employees, what the cost of that is going to be, what the cash flow is going to be, what the other running expenses are going to be. So the Home Office wants to know whether what's been proposed is credible or not. So it's money, English ability, your experience, and what do you propose to do in the United Kingdom. They are really the key elements of a Tier 1 entrepreneur application, and if you're able to satisfy those requirements, then potentially you are able to obtain a visa to come here to operate a business. There are other minor requirements which normally aren't difficult to fulfill, such as the person needs a criminal record certificate, so people with criminal convictions won't be allowed to come to the UK. They'll need to pass a TB test. Obviously somebody who's unwell with that kind of illness wouldn't be able to come to the United Kingdom. And also there's a small maintenance requirement where roughly you need a few £1,000s in your bank account, which essentially sees you through for the first few months, where you don't have to dip into your £200,000, which should be there preserved to run a business in the United Kingdom. So the maintenance funds of a few £1,000s, that's there to see you through for the first few months in terms of paying for the accommodation and paying for your daily expenses for the first few months. So essentially that's how a Tier 1 entrepreneur visa works. Just a couple of points before we move on from there. And one point is that with the £200,000 fund, not only does it cover one applicant to come to the United Kingdom with their family, it is possible for another member of to apply as well. So essentially they would be applying as a team. So you'll have two applicants who rely on the same level of funding. Now, if you look at it from that point of view, it becomes a much more attractive scheme, where you've got two people who've got £100,000 each, for example. They could combine the money that they've got and apply as team members to come to the United Kingdom. Both applicants are able to apply to come to the United Kingdom. And as I said at the outset, this is a scheme whereby spouses, children under 18 can also come to the United Kingdom. So potentially two applicants, two families in the long run can come to the United Kingdom. So in one sense, the visa has been designed in such a way that it is quite an attractive scheme. It's not that difficult to fulfill in terms of the criteria. where applicants are successful, they're granted a 3-year visa to come to the United Kingdom, and it's in that time that the Home Office wants to see the investment going into the business being developed, and 2 employees ultimately being employed for a period of at least 1 year each. If that is in place, when the extension application is submitted at the 3-year mark, and if the extension application is successful, the Home Office will then grant a visa for 2 years. And what that will do is take the total grant of the visa from the outset to the end to a total of 5 years. And it is at that stage, assuming you're still employing 2 people, the business is still carrying on, still operational, it's at that stage that you do qualify for indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom. In terms of the process, it does normally take about 2 to 3 months for the application to be processed. Similar to how spouse applications are made, there's an online form which is submitted, a date booked at the visa centre, and on that date, all these supporting documents that we've talked about, all those documents need to be handed in at the visa centre. And it's at that stage, once they've received it, they will then take a couple of months to assess the documents. There may well be an interview in relation to the application, and there's a whole host of questions that the applicant will be asked relating to the business. But essentially, it's an attractive scheme that more and more people are applying for at the moment. That unfortunately brings us to the end of the show. We should be back next week on Monday at 6 o'clock. Until then, Assalamu alaikum.